What this is, nothing more than pencil poppers. This one happens to be made by a famous company. They got a few other ones. This one's made by Rubbermaid subsidiary. As you can see right here, I'll show you if you're going to use a 2/0 hook or whatever. This works freshwater, saltwater. Fantastic. I'll do you one up here quickly. This, what I coated this with, I was trying all kind of things, spray adhesives, spray adhesive, and then to hold the glitter. Here again, glitter, you can get that in a salt shaker, and then when you go to get it on like a wood dowel or even a pencil, it's made for a pencil, you get you a nice little container under there, sprinkle it on after you coat it up. And the best coating I found, the same wood for making head cement, is this stuff right here. It's a water base, and pretty much you gotta let it set up. They pretty much make it for covering things such as puzzles. Believe it or not, there's a lot of people put puzzles together and then they want to coat them and keep them for eternity. Why? I don't know, but they do. Anyway, I mixed that up. Probably about 30 to 40% of the Mod Podge right here, and polyacrylic, which is a water base, floored lacquer, something like that. You can use it for coating desks, everything else. Now, it's not fully water based. As I mentioned before, having worked the oil field, they can even make soap out of petroleum products. And what I do when I get it mixed up, I've still got a lot of this left. You can get smaller containers, Walmart, at Michael's, other places. And polyacrylic, you can get a little quart of it. It's quite spendy. And I got it in some kind of old jar with plastic lid. Just put a baggie on it each time, because that stuff will set up. Once it sets up, another reason I made it up is because trying to get a water-based adhesive that I could send down to my subcontracting tying company, and the way DOT is set up, you can't really do that. Yeah, I think that's out of focus there. Unless you can't send flammable stuff, even one container, unless you want to sea ship it. Then it takes months. The water-based adhesives that I had gotten, head cement, were wimpy. They wouldn't hold without 3 or 4 or 5 coats. Get that mixed up, about 30% Mod Podge, put it on there once, and it's holding. It holds almost as good as epoxy. Alright, what we're going to do with this, let's say this is a small 2/0 bass hook, or size 2, whatever. You can take this, once it's coated up. Actually, now I just take a big one of those boar bristles, cheap boar bristles you can get at Home Depot or whatever, cost about $2, cheap wood handle. You can rinse them out with water. That's on a pencil, coat it up, sprinkle it up, let it dry. You can come back, put another coat on it. But these pencil grips really don't suck it up. So depending on the size hook, you can get what you want on there. You can't really go down to 6 or anything like that, but you can get a little rattle in there. That Wapsie fly. See, I did this for another one. Got one right up in here. That'll fit right up in there. This is I think a 3 or 4 millimeter that you can tie on as a regular hook. I think the inside diameter of that is about 5.5. Anyway, here the thread won't matter. And if you see my other videos, or if you bought the DVD to help have them all in together, and part of the payment there goes to help hospitalized vets, Wounded Warrior Program, la-di-da, la-di-da. Give them something to do. Okay, I'm just going to happen to use a little bit of this happen to have it handy. What color is that? That's pink. Well, it doesn't matter what you use for the tail. I got orange there. That's orange. I don't have any metallic made up. You can use a purple on there. As a matter of fact, I'm going to show you something here with this purple. Let's kill two birds with one stone. Get just a bit of super glue on there. Now, you can actually glue this right to the hook. I'll show you that in the next one. You'd use hot melt glue, and you pretty much want to do that on one of those pads I mentioned before. It's a real slick pad. In one of my Pearl Curl series. It's basically a cutting pad. Here again, you get a Walmart, get 4 packs of them. Chopping pad for the kitchen. Nothing hardly sticks to that. If you want to go all the way out here to give it something in there, that's fine. Here again, if you wrap anything, deer hair or whatever, take a couple wraps behind it onto the hook shank and she won't turn on you. We're going to leave that one kind of long. I got a little bit on there extra, and let me see, we'll add something in here because you don't have to use this with my stuff. You can mix my stuff with anybody's stuff. You can do this with anything you got, feathers even. We'll just add a little bit more in there, give it some kind of color. Now if you got a long piece like that, you can see how that's tapered out. All you got to do, if you wanted to fold it over, pull a couple of these out like this. You're still going to have a taper on that end. You'll get a taper on here so it won't look cut straight off. Some people like that straight off cut. I'm using a low melt for this purpose. And I usually cut this with a razor blade layer down. This one, cut it at 45. It would give a nice cup up in there in a second. You don't have to do what I'm going to do in this next step. And I should have a better backdrop for you. Okay, this should be hot melt glue. You can put a weed guard on there. I got Polaris weed guards that are nice and easy to put on. That's another video. Anyway, I get this on here, turn that just a little bit. This is where you can make up half dozen of them. Put it down on that slick pad. Or actually, what else works good for a lot of things is like I use to tie my vices on or bench. It's a cutout from a kitchen counter sink. You can get them at Millworks. Up here in Alaska, we got a company called SBS that makes doors and other things. Alrighty, now that hot melt glue, you really don't even need thread on there. I'll show you here in a second if you want to make a nice old ocean pencil popper. Now, after that's set up, I usually put that old rattle up in there. Of course, I like putting rattle eyes on there too. This one here, you can see, just barely sits there. So you get your glue gun, slide it in past that, give her a couple shots up in there, being real careful. Hot melt glue will take a good while to set, and then just barely come around and cover that. Leave you a little gap. You want to leave a little gap in there so that water can cup and shoot water out. I did some tests on this last year. There'll be pictures up on the website. But I was getting water shooting 10 foot. And I know any self-respecting bass down there in brackish water, Louisiana, then when the tide changes, the redfish and specks come up in there, I know they're going to get hungry and hit that sucker.